Seated on the dais with me, Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura, Shri Manik Saha Sahib, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Conrad Sangmaji, Secretary in my department, Shri Chanchal Kumarji, Joint Secretary Dona, Ms. Mona Lisa Das ji, Joint Director of FICCI, Shri Biswajit ji, who gave the welcome remarks, and most importantly, the reservoir and repository of the growth engine of our country, our investor universe, and in many ways the protagonists of India's rise on the world stage. My friends, my investors from the hustling, bustling city of Mumbai. It indeed is a pleasure to be back home. And some of you may not know, but I have spent a long period of my life in this city and in this state. Amchi Mati, Amchi Mumbai. फार छान वाटला मला महाराष्ट्राच्या मातीमध्ये प्रणाम करायला एक मौका मला मिळाला. ऐतिहासिक माती आहेत, हे भारतचा स्वराजची माती आहेत. आणि माझा एक संबंध तुमच्या जवळ आणि हे माती जवळ एक पारिवारिक संबंध आहेत. तर आज एक खासदारच्या संबंध मध्ये नाही, पण एक पारिवारिक संबंधचा अनुभव आणि उदाहरण घेऊन तुमच्या समोर मी उभे आहे. Be thankful to both our chief ministers, Manik Saha Sahab, who has completed a long and arduous journey from Agartala to Mumbai. He only landed at 3 a.m. in the morning. Conrad Sangmaji. And this, ladies and gentlemen, the presence of our two chief ministers here reflects the commitment of two leaders towards their state's development, two leaders who have not only presented before you today the hard economic rubric of the capability of their homes, but far more important than that, the soft power that truly the Northeast represents has been expositioned before you this evening. The central government works in partnership with the Seven Sisters and Sikkim, works in partnership with that one goal in mind. The Prime Minister has articulated कि यह भारतची शताब्दी होणार आणि ते संकल्पला सिद्धीमध्ये परिवर्तित करायचा आहेत तर एक एक माणूसला 100% परिश्रम आणि मेहनत करून भारतचे झेंडाला फडकायची विचारधारा विश्वस्तर पर ते साकार आम्हाला करायचा आहेत. And it is with that emotion, this is India's decade, this is India's century, and it is with that emotion that the leaders of these states, in the form of our chief ministers, have demonstrated before you today that within India's rubric of 36 states and union territories, there are opportunities to be found everywhere. Before you today. But it is the time of the Northeast that within India's rubric, yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. The Northeast is here today before you, ladies and gentlemen, because today, after 10 years of dedicated hard work, 10 years of building the infrastructure of the Northeast, 10 years of building the human capital of the Northeast, 10 years of building the soft power of the Northeast, today the Northeast is ready for your investment to take India to that position by 2047 when we move from our Amrit Kal to our Shatabdi Kal. It was a different environment 10 years ago. The last decade has changed India's position across the world stage. We've gone from the 11th largest economy to the 5th largest economy. By 2027, we'll become the 3rd largest economy, leaving Germany and Japan behind. But that growth, that transformation, that chrysalis will only be possible when we look at investments in new areas. An industry, as I know, you, investors as I know you. Because today I'm on this side of the stage. But for 10 years in my career, I was on that side of the stage. I used to be an investment banker. And we have seen a difference between the talk and the walk. But today, in the form of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief Ministers of the Northeast, represented today by Manik Sahaji and by Conrad Sangmaji, the talk is the walk, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a centuries transformation that has been squeezed into the period of a decade. And I say this to you, not as Minister of the Northeast. I say this to you as a citizen of India that has had the good fortune, thanks to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to be able to interact with Chief Ministers like Manik Saha, like Conrad Sangmaji, who are passionate about their states, passionate about bringing change, who do not believe in the status quo, who believe in being, quote unquote, disruptors, but disruptors showing the path to a new progressive development of their states under their captaincy. And I've experienced that in the last 6 months. I've experienced that when I was Civil Aviation Minister. When these luminaries seated on my stage today would not let me take a breath until I provided connectivity to both their states and provided infrastructure to both their states. So I speak here with experience, at having been at the receiving end of their constant trials and tribulations. But it is only through perseverance that you get the fruit of success. And I am proud as a public servant today to be standing and sitting on stage, and having been at the receiving end with two gentlemen who have been of their constant trials and tribulations and instrumental in bringing about transformation in both their states. The Northeast is ready, ladies and gentlemen. And I find it very difficult in words to describe the potential that these 8 states represent. 5.5 crore population. Growth rates that are unheard of in any part of the world. Even in India. We are 600, 700 basis points ahead of the world, growing at 7.5%, 8% GDP. But these gentlemen are growing at 11, 11.5, 12% GDP rate. What the magic is in their portion, you have to ask both of them. But what is very clear is they are like captains of their ships, giving very clear direction of where they want to be in. And the beauty of my 7 sisters and Sikkim is that each one of them have their own area of core competence, their own area of strengths. Some places they overlap. And where they overlap, they will compete amongst themselves. They will compete for capital. They will compete for opportunity. But they have very clear verticals where they specialize. And the single point that I want to put across to all of you is, don't look at them as only being areas within India that you are investing. Why? Because when the sun rises on our country, when the sun rises on Bharat Mata, the first rays don't fall on Bombay. They do not fall on Delhi. They do not fall on Bengaluru. They do not fall on Chennai. If the sun rises, it rises from the last village of Arunachal Pradesh. That is the potential that the Northeast today represents to all of you. It is the gateway to the global South. Your investment in the Northeast provides you not only a huge market within India, but provides you access to Myanmar, to Bangladesh, to Nepal, to Bhutan, to Laos, to Cambodia, to Malaysia, to Singapore. All of those markets, mind my words, in the next decade will be present in the Northeast. And that's the kaleidoscope with which you have to look. And the reason why I insisted, and I must apologize to Manak Saha Sahab and to Conrad Sangmaji. Manek Saha Sahab has left important meetings in Tripura and come here. Conrad ji has left his family and come here for the rest of his family in Meghalaya. But I believe in the entrepreneurial and innovative capabilities of my Mumbai. The soil that I have known for more than 20 years of my life. And what I want to accomplish today is not purely a transaction. Yes, we have signed 38,000 crores of MOUs between Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Yes, many people have come forth when we have started this investor roadshow. But what I want to achieve in Mumbai is I want to form a bridge between the vibrancy and the resilience of businesses and investors and minds and ignited hearts of my Mumbai and the huge potential that lies in my Northeast in these 8 states. You believe in first mover advantage. And today you have a presentation of first mover advantage in the Northeast. You believe in going to an area which has huge human resource potential. There is no other area in the world that has the human resource potential than of my Northeast. 70% between the age of 15 to 35. Across every state. You want to experience a youth bulge? Go to the Northeast. An English-speaking population. Literacy rates higher than what you can ever conceive in the rest of India. Beyond 80% literacy rates. The desire to be part of something innovative. The desire to be part of something new. My brother Conrad just talked about the nurses getting trained in Meghalaya, contributing to countries as far off as Germany. That is the capability of the Northeast. And this is the bridge I want to create. In Meghalaya, we have a beautiful site of the root bridges close to Cherrapunji, am I right? Those root bridges are built over centuries. And whatever nature or human, more than nature, human may try and do, you can never tear those root bridges apart. I want to form those root bridges between Mumbai and the Northeast. And there are huge areas of opportunity. My Joint Secretary has given a very educative presentation. 5,500 kilometers of national highways built. Civil aviation airports have gone from 9 airports to 17 airports. I had resolved as civil aviation minister that I will convert the advanced landing grounds in Arunachal into airports. And Pasighat, Zero, multiple airports have been built there today. We had 1,000 ATMs per week, air traffic movements per week. In 10 years, Prime Minister has made it 1,950 air traffic movements per week to the Northeast. – 40,000 kilometers of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana has been built. 20 waterways. Talk about railways. 2,000 kilometers of railway tracks, the highest railway bridge being built. 19 projects worth 90,000 crores being executed today. These are not mere data points. Behind each data point is tremendous amount of hard work, perseverance, diligence, granularity. And therefore the Northeast today, from an infrastructure point of view, from a human resource point of view, from a nature's point of view, if you want to go to a Shangri-La in the world, there is no Shangri-La that is better than my Northeast. My brother Conrad invited me just now to the Cherry Blossom Festival. I attended the music festival with him and spent the night in Meghalaya. The next morning when I woke up, not sure where he had housed me, but wherever he had housed me, when I opened the windows, the hotel was situated in a forest next to a lake. I'm not kidding you. The clouds were literally 6 inches above the water, floating on the water. 20 AQI, he says. I will challenge him. I guarantee you the AQI there was not more than 2. Where will you get that in the world? And it's ready for you. The same in Tripura, the same in Arunachal. But we must protect nature. I have mentioned this to our chief ministers as well. We must make sure we protect nature. Tourism potential, the music festivals, from Zero Festival at Arunachal to Cherry Blossom to the festivals in Tripura. And you look at the youth energy. Today, the Embassy of Japan collaborated with the Cherry Blossom Festival to make sure ramen noodles, sushi, tempura, everything is sold in the Cherry Blossom Festival. So if Japanese cuisine can go to Meghalaya, why cannot my pav bhaji from Bombay go to Meghalaya? Why cannot my dal bahafla from Jhabua, Madhya Pradesh go to Meghalaya? Agriculture. What does this area not have, ladies and gentlemen? GI products, a repertoire of them, 35 GI products. By state, if you look at Arunachal Pradesh's sticky rice and bamboo tea, Assam's orthodox tea and jowar rice, Manipur's Tamilong orange, black rice, Kachai lemon, Meghalaya's Lakadong turmeric, Mizoram's miso chili and miso ginger, Nagaland's Naga chili, Sikkim's cardamom, Tripura's Matabari peda and queen pineapple. What does this area not have that Mother Earth has given us? And let me tell you, Conrad G talked about food processing. If you're not there, it's going to get too late. Why? Because as Civil Aviation Minister, I had put in place Krishi Udan. My chilies from Nagaland, I was flying out under Civil Aviation to Dubai. My queen pineapple from Tripura, I was flying out to Germany. So if the world is partaking in the treasures of the Northeast, what are you waiting for? But value addition must take place on the ground. We must not look at the principle of just allowing farmers to grow their produce, taking it out from those states and processing it elsewhere. Processing must take place in these states where our local farmers must be part of that processing value chain. Packaging value chain, branding value chain. And they're already there. The SHG groups that I've seen, thanks to Prime Minister's resolve of making sure the self-help groups rise across the length and breadth of India. The quality of product, the quality of packaging, you'll be astounded. Packaging value chain, branding value is already there in the Northeast. You just need to go there and tap it, like you tap a rubber tree. Taha Saab talked about agarwood. I didn't know. Colognes we use, perfumes the ladies use. The oud that goes into that, I had no idea. Comes from agar wood from Tripura and Assam. International production is on a decline. Indonesia is on a decline. It is the Northeast that presents that opportunity today. Our agarbatti comes from there. So why don't we set up industry there? So whether it's agriculture, whether it is tourism, whether it's education, whether it's IT, Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura have set up IT parks. Today the world is expanding and India is expanding with the world. We used to consume 1 GB of data. Now on average every Indian consumes 20 GB of data. We've rolled out the fastest 5G network in the world. In 22 months, 99% of India's districts and 82% of India's population today have 5G coverage. And I've said this many a time. We followed the world on 4G. We marched with the world on 5G. But I tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, we will lead the world in 6G. That will require a huge demand for data centers. And the Northeast is a great area to set up those data centers. The software, the engineering capability in the Northeast is par excellence. I've just tied up with the Northeast, with South India, with Chennai, for our animation capability. All the Hollywood movies, Avatar and all these movies, the back end of their animation took place in India. And there's a huge storehouse of that capability in the youth of the Northeast. We're tying up today with all Indian companies that are in animation, set up their centers in the Northeast. Not to employ our Northeast brothers and sisters in their companies in the South, but we must set it up in the Northeast, create value in the Northeast. Sports is another area. But I've requested all chief ministers, we must not only look at creating hard assets, not only brick and mortar, but the training capability as well. And I'm glad that John Abraham today has been invited in Meghalaya. But Meghalaya today produces the Navratnas in the sporting area for Bharat Mata. Your Baijung Bhatia, your Mary Com, your archers, all produced today from the Northeast. Renewable energy is another huge area. Hydro potential in our country, 56 gigs solely from the Northeast. That's the potential of the Northeast. I used to be power minister. 56 gigs, 56,000 megawatts. Today, what is being actually produced in the Northeast? Only 2,500 megawatts. And 5,000 megawatts under work. Huge opportunity there in renewable power. Semiconductor is being set up in Assam. The Tatas have moved there. 27,000 crores worth of investment going into Assam. We will be providing maximum number of chips to the world from the Northeast in the next 5 years. Tourism and hospitality, both the chief ministers have spoken about that. I am working hand in hand with them. We in the donor ministry have identified a tourism circuit for every state. One site. We don't want to be jack of all trades and master of none. We've identified one site for every state. Sora in Meghalaya, Matabari in Tripura, where we will focus on creating quality, not quantity. Quality experiences. And today, people are willing to travel. But people are desirous of experiences, end to end, from when I get off the plane till when you see me off. It should be seamless. And I have said to all our chief ministers that donor will stand behind them to fund any project that is required, but we must look at quality and not quantity. So I stand before you, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you as a messenger. I stand before you as a public servant. I stand before you as a partner. I stand before you as a bridge. I stand before you as a unifier. I stand before you bringing the opportunity to you. The Prime Minister has a huge vision for the Northeast. The Prime Minister is committed to the Northeast. Our chief ministers will stand by you and your investments. We will ensure that red tapeism is replaced by a red carpet for all of you. But you have to take the plunge. You have to come to uncharted areas which are ripe for the picking. But I have to request you. You have to come with your checkbook but you have to also come with your heart. Because this is not and should not be a mere transaction. It is an investment into your future, an investment into the future of the youth, and an investment into the future of Bharat Mata. Thank you very much.